And next up, we're going to have another bit of prose. Now, this is from Miss Hilary McCollum. She read last month. And her first, this is your first novel. Her first novel, Gold Digger, is out on the 14th of May. It'll probably be out a bit later here, and she'll have it launch in June. So show her some love, people. Hilary McCollum.
Well, I should really probably be promoting Gold Digger. So all I'm going to do is wave the flyer at you. But I'm actually going to read from the novel I'm working on at the minute. And it's set in the suffragette movement, and I'm reading from that to encourage people to vote. We've got elections coming up, and people went through a lot to get the vote for women, and they went through a lot to get the vote for people in Derry, so I think people should vote. Okay, so this is the first chapter of Wild, and it opens at Epsom Racecourse. And it's told from the perspective of Emily Wilding Davison. So I'm going to pick up in the middle of the chapter, and she's already at the racecourse. Today is my first time at the races. I begin to understand their appeal, standing in the heart of a crowd roaring on its favourites. I did not come here for fun, but I cannot deny that I've enjoyed the past few hours. It starts with a race card, scanning the names of the runners, looking for one that speaks to me. Identifying my fancy as he makes his casual way to the start, sizing up the opposition as they canter alongside. The anticipation builds as we wait for the starter to bring them under orders. Then the thrill as they're off, growing and growing with every stride from the start, until they burst into view, galloping towards where I stand on the rails, horses flying past, inches away. They are faster, much faster, than the horses at the Morpeth Gallops. I practiced there last week, but this is a different game. 4 seconds, perhaps 5. That is how long I will have. It is not long, but I do not have much to do. The Derby runners are making their way to the start, a slow canter up the incline from the finish towards me. My eyes follow one horse, Anmer, the King's horse. He is the reason I am here today. On his back is Herbert Jones, the King's jockey. I pray I do him no harm. As Anmer makes his leisurely way past me, I note in my mind his height, watch how he moves. I wish he were a grey, a silvery white grey, distinct from the other runners. But he is a brown horse in a field of brown horses. The hardest part will be picking him out. The King's colours will help. They are like no other racing silks. The scarlet sleeves and purple body flash with gold stand out against the pinks and creams, the spots and stripes. But the colours that matter most are the ones Anmar will carry home. My plan was to use one of the flags from the headquarters of the Women's Social and Political Union, but I fear the bulk will be unmanageable in the few moments I will have. Instead, I will use my scarf. It was a gift from my friend Rose on my release from Holloway last year. White knitted silk, votes woven in purple and green at either end, purple and green stripes down the centre. This scarf is precious to me, but it is light and easily handled, and I know that Rose will understand. With the scarf I can do this. I know I can, or die trying. I feel a moment of fear, or die trying. I have faced death time and again for the cause and thought it worth the risk. In prison and on the streets I've been prepared to lay down my life for my friends. I have expected to die, but always I've been spared. Fortune favours the brave. I push the fear away. I can do this. It is all about the timing and the angle of approach. It helps that I am tall, unusually tall for a woman, with long arms and a good reach. Women are not supposed to be tall. I've always been a little awkward because of it. Gawky, some might call it. I do not look like an athlete, especially since I hurt my back on the staircase at Holloway Prison. but at school I won prizes for sports. I may be 40 now, but my sense of timing has not left me. I can do this. Across at the start, the horses are gathering. Slipping my hand into my pocket, I retrieve my scarf, holding it firmly, ready. I tune out the crowd, entering a world where only myself, my scarf, and the horses exist. And they're off. A glimpse through the trees, a dozen horses sprinting up the hill, hooves eating up the ground. I face the bend, craning my neck for my first sight of them. I can scarcely believe my luck. Almer is out in front, clear of the other riders, his distinctive colours shining like a beacon. Quickly I duck under the rail. He's almost upon me. I approach him side on, reaching up, reaching, grabbing the reins, slowing him down for a moment, only a moment, long enough to loop my scarf around the leather straps. The astonished jockey stares at me, his mouth open, but as the other horses catch him up, he flicks his whip at Almer's flank, and they're back into stride, my scarf streaming out beside them. I dive back to the safety of the rails, narrowly escaping the trampling hooves of another runner, pushing my way back in place. I unpin one of my flags, brandishing it above my head, shouting, "Free Mrs. Pankhurst! Free Mrs. Pankhurst! Votes for women! Free Mrs. Pankhurst!" King, votes for women. Please grant us votes for women and save Mrs. Pankhurst's life. This is how I hope it will be. I do not know what happens next. What happens next will be down to others, not to me. I might be arrested. I'm not sure what offence the police would charge me with, but there's bound to be something. There is always something. Or I might be attacked by members of the crowd, beaten and kicked, my hair torn from my scalp. It has happened before. Or perhaps I will complete my protest, walk freely to the train station, return to Victoria, and thence to the Suffragette Summer Fair. I've brought my helper's pass in case. The noise of the spectators brings me back to the present. A buzz of excitement vibrates through the crowd as the race gets underway. This time it is real, but it doesn't feel real. Time behaves strangely, fast and slow. I have no time. I have plenty of time. The horses' strides are long as they climb the hill from the start, like they're floating through the air, legs extended during every gallop. Then their hooves hit the ground with a thump, and then they float again. It feels more like a dream than reality, except I can feel my heart pounding, bursting against my ribs. They are taking too long with their floating strides, making me anxious. I want them to hurry. I check my scarf again, try to slow my breathing. Oh God, they're here, they round the bend, a blur of pale silks, brown horses. Where is the king's horse? Where is Almer? I scan the horses frantically as they pound towards me, faster than seems possible. Where? There he is. On his own, a little way back from the leading bunch. I duck under the rail, avoiding the last of the pack. Almer's coming fast, ground vibrating, crowd roaring. I approach him side on, reaching up, reaching. Thanks.